The TV1 News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello and welcome. This is TV1 News. I'm Tracy Pa. In this edition, security personnel commended, mental health services restored, and welfare of female footballers. The first group of representatives who will be participating at the 21st South Pacific Nurses Forum, which will be held on the 4th to the 7th of June at the APEC House, has arrived in Port Moresby today. They were welcomed at the Jackson's International Airport by the dancers from Anua Bada. Representatives from 11 Pacific Island countries expected to attend the forum. This will be the second time the PNG Nurses Forum will host this significant forum. According to committee-led Marilyn Nicholas, the purpose of the forum is to network with other Pacific Island countries, identify the problem area and challenges, and find solutions on how to collaborate with other Pacific Island countries to improve the nursing fraternity. Meanwhile, an official welcome reception will be held at the Crown Hotel at 6 p.m. tomorrow, June 3rd. The Commissioner of Police, David Manning, has commended the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary and Papua New Guinea Defence Force personnel for their coordinated efforts in maintaining peace and good order in the lead-up to and during the Parliament sitting. In a statement, Commissioner of Police David Manning commended the ongoing efforts by the PNG Defence Force and Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary personnel in maintaining peace and good order in the lead-up and during the Parliament sitting, which resulted in less or no emerging law and order issues. Manning said RPNGC and the PNG Defence Force are working closely to collate and share information on potential criminal activities that might be instigated while Parliament is in session coming June 4th on Tuesday. He said this includes ongoing cooperation between RPNGC Specialist Unit and the PNG Defence Force Long Range Reconnaissance Unit in the analysis of information of law and order significance. Manning said ongoing cooperation between police and military units further sends a very clear message to opportunists thinking they can get away with crimes with the misconception that police are distracted during this period. He said the collaborative approach was approved by the National Executive Council, enabling continued call-out for the Defence Force. He said the call-out for PNG Defence was approved by the NAC and the Governor-General has served the country well in the lead-up to and during the current sitting of Parliament. The Commissioner added that the collaboration of security forces, particularly when it comes to criminal intelligence, supports a secure environment for the democratic process and protects the community and businesses. Meanwhile, during a joint press conference held by the RPNGC and PNGDF recently, the Northern Commander Assistant Commissioner of Police, Peter Guinness, said police and PNGDF personnel will continue their operations when Parliament sits on June 4th. Guinness said their operations will include roadblocks from the highways of Central Province and within the city as well. Guinness said this is to ensure that opportunists will not take advantage of the Parliament sitting to instigate law and order issues.
Outside of Port Moresby City, and we will be covering the entire Port Moresby City, and there will be a lot of police presence and Defence Force personnel in the settlement areas, and we will be going out talking to the public, discouraging them from trying to do what happened on January 10th.
The National Court has ordered the Directorate for Social Change and Mental Health Services and its board to manage the Lalaki Psychiatric Hospital. The court on Tuesday, May 28, 2024, delivered its final decision. The Directorate and its board, in a press conference held on Saturday, was relieved by the court's decision and can now continue to perform their task under the Mental Health Act 2015 as far as the hospital is concerned. In 2023, the National Department of Health had served a court order restraining the Directorate from performing its functions of managing the hospital as per a court order of 6 July 2023, which was extended on 1st August 2023. However, this was lifted by the court.
Being taken out. I think the court agreed in that our submission that Lalaki Psychiatric Hospital is not a public hospital, and especially for mental health services, so we can look after the forensic patients and other areas of our who needs to get help for a long-term stay and so on.
The Mineral Resources Authority announced that it would donate 200,000 worth of relief supplies to the people of Yambale village who have been affected by the landslide. Yambale, located in the Maya Mulitika rural local level government in the Pugera electorate, was affected by a landslide on Friday, May 24th.
The Mineral Resources Authority has already procured the supplies from a wholesale shop in Wabek and will transport them early next week to the disaster site in collaboration with the Enga Provincial Disaster Committee. The goods include 600 bags of rice, 400 cartons of tinned fish, 400 cartons of noodles, 200 bales of sugar, and bottles of cooking oil, among other basic food supplies. The team of MRA officers led by the project coordinator for the Pokera mining project, Jorian Gao, went to Yambale village and made the announcement and presented some of the goods.
Meblatok sore big plus sore kamlong on land blo molitak when this la natural disaster landslide and me kiss me. MRA also mining regulator in the country and me contributed 200,000.
The announcement coincided with the visit to the village by Prime Minister James Marape, where he also announced the national government's assistance of 20 million kina. Riangao, on behalf of the managing director of the MRA, Jerry Gary, conveyed MRA's condolences to the families of the victims of the natural disaster. The assistance was part of the MRA's corporate social responsibility. Susan Oreape, TV1 News.
TV1 News continues when we return with news making headlines overseas.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase easy paid units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put him more flavor, put him more taste. Magic kakaru, get up a big smile on face. Time cook him chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Magic, the taste PNG loves.
Open hands.
says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier but you like it more.
Superstition ain't the way.
Welcome back. There's been chaos at airports across the country with a fuel supply issue overnight in Perth, leaving domestic and international travellers stranded.
Around the country as flights in and out of Perth ground to a halt.
Captains ringing in every hour saying don't know where the fuel is, but eventually we just get kicked off the airplane and then our flight's been cancelled.
In Sydney, this man was trying to get home to Perth after his son's baseball tournament in Lismore. He's now facing a roundabout trip home through Melbourne.
Just delays it. I don't know. Would have liked to be home tonight.
And there were flow-on effects elsewhere as passengers missed connecting flights.
Well, I'm not too happy about it because I had to be in Perth tonight to make it to Singapore for another flight.
International flights were forced to divert to regional airports, leaving passengers stuck on the tarmac, including those on this 17-hour direct flight from London to Perth, which ended up refuelling in the mining town of Karratha in WA's north. Hours later, the airport announced the problem was fixed.
We appear to have had air has been sucked into the distribution system. Even once we identified the fix, it then was about a period of time for us to bleed that air out.
But delays are expected to continue throughout the weekend, with many passengers told they can't be rebooked for days.
Somebody is responsible for what is happening and there should be something done to help the passengers.
There's been some confusion over compensation, with Virgin Australia initially telling passengers they were not eligible. However, a spokeswoman later corrected this, saying passengers could apply if they weren't being booked forward on future flights. Other passengers stranded in Perth were told they wouldn't be given hotel accommodation, leaving some to face an extended wait at the airport.
Families of Israeli hostages held by Hamas have called for all parties to immediately accept the latest ceasefire proposal to end the war and bring their relatives home. But Israel remains opposed. U.S. President saying the militant group was no longer capable of carrying out another large-scale attack on Israel. He urged Israel and Hamas to agree to release some 100 remaining hostages, along with the bodies of around 30 more, for an extended ceasefire in Gaza. Germany has joined the United States in allowing Ukraine to use its weapon to target Russian military targets. The move comes at a crucial time for Ukraine, which has come under heavy bombardment in the country's northeast.
Keeping residents wake to a Russian missile in the dead of the night.
It's a terrible situation because Russian aggressors have hit a residential building.
They're the latest casualties in Moscow's new offensive towards Ukraine's northeastern city of Kharkiv near the Russian border. So far, 11,000 residents have been evacuated. Until now, Ukrainian forces have been hamstrung in their response, restricted from firing US weapons into Russian territory. President Joe Biden has now lifted the ban, allowing troops to use its weapons to fire back in that front of the war. America was worried easing restrictions could escalate tensions with the Kremlin. Vladimir Putin has warned it could cause a global conflict. But without the change in policy, Ukraine was struggling to keep Russian troops at bay. On the sidelines of a NATO security meeting in Prague, the alliance chief dismissed the threats.
Self-defense is not escalation.
The news broke as the Ukrainian president was in Stockholm signing a new security pact with Sweden.
I think that using any weapon, Western kind of weapon, on the territory of Russia, it's the question of time.
The Ukrainian people can count on continued strong Nordic support.
America's decision, though, comes with strings attached, limiting how deep inside Russia Ukraine can strike. But as Moscow's forces edge closer, those defending their city will take whatever they can get.
As more young Tasmanians face homelessness, there's a growing need to come up with immediate solutions. A new report has given a voice to young people caught in the housing and youth housing justice systems.
Thrown out of your house at 14, you come to not be afraid of a lot of things, least of all power-hungry cops or grumpy old men.
Homeless shelters, they're all full up all the time. But when they're all full, where are those other kids supposed to go?
Had to steal from shops, do robberies to get money, get my food. When I was living in a tent, I had to do that.
These voices are often missing from Tasmania's discussions around youth crime and homelessness, but listening to lived experiences will be crucial for Tasmania to develop improved services.
The thing they value the most is that somebody is listening to them without judgment.
The comments are in a report from the Children's Commissioner. It highlights how services aren't keeping up with demand and how homelessness is often a precursor to young people entering the justice system.
If the government were trying their hardest, they would have funded all of the actions of the Youth Justice Blueprint several budgets ago.
Colony 47 runs Mara House, transitional accommodation for girls and young women. They're noticing that more children are becoming homeless, some as young as 12. It's full for most of the year, meaning options are limited.
They're relying on friends to put them up for the night temporarily. They're also relying on probably non-safe circumstances.
Colony 47 is now looking to use vacant city hotels.
Kind of like, now is the time. There's 500 kids out there that could use a safe, stable home.
The government says capacity is increasing and Homes Tasmania prioritises young people.
You're watching TV1 News. Sports is next. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
When you're spending time with family, when you've got a big day ahead, when you have given it all you've got, when you're putting on a feast, that's when you want the best. That's when you want flame rice. New flame rice. Win him, Olgeta.
Beauty is my business, but beauty sure is a tough game. Filters are great, but great skin, better. And that's why my skin deserves the best. So I choose self-care, soaps that gently nourish my skin, resulting in a radiant look, made with tropical ingredients. I trust self-care from City Pharmacy, so bring it on! My skin is ready and so am I.
Enjoying life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot in Tokyo, or old, a Scalress family meal with home. We'll bring out the smiles, cause it's our favorite from us. Tennessee cola, scale rice on scale price. Tennessee cola, scale rice on scale price. Amber, you like
Thanks for staying with us. The 6 international teams will descend on Brisbane in June to vie for glory at this year's Pacific Netball Series. Teams will compete in this year's tournament are Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, Namibia, Singapore, and making its debut is the Australian First National Invitational Team. Missing out on this year's series is Papua New Guinea. The international series provides the opportunity for teams from the Pacific and beyond to compete for world ranking points and is supported by the Australian government's High Performance OSAID Sports Program. FIFA has moved to further protect female players and coaches' well-being by implementing changes to the regulations on the status and transfer of players effective 1st June 2024. This comes after listening to the concerns of women in the game and following thorough discussions with key stakeholders and a previous set of landmark reforms.
Approved by the FIFA Council in May 2024, these changes will extend the rights and protections to adoptive parents as well as non-biological mothers. In addition, these updates will also recognize the physical, psychological, and social dimensions in the event of an inability to provide employment services due to severe menstruation or medical complication relating to pregnancy, and member associations will be encouraged to allow female players to have contact with their families while on international duty. FIFA Chief Football Women's Officer Sarai Berman said the new measures recognize that the players are the main stakeholders.
One of our key objectives in women's football is to see more women around the world being able to make a living playing the sport that they love. And in order to do that, we need to make sure that they are protected in doing that. And for women, especially those who are wanting to be mothers or to start a family, to adopt children, it's important that they are able to do that without having to give up or have a negative impact on their footballing career.
FIFA is committed to implementing a dynamic regulatory framework that is sound and suitable for the increasing needs of female players and coaches, says FIFA Legal, adding that the game to further flourish, it's key that we have a holistic approach towards players' well-being, including the legal aspects. Susan Oreape, TV1 Sports.
Blues fullback Dylan Edwards is under an injury cloud for Wednesday's Origin opener after finishing today's training session with a sore quad.
A chilly start in the Blue Mountains for the Blues and a concern for their new fullback. Dylan Edwards trained today but then felt tightness in his quad after the session. A decision will be made tomorrow morning before James Tedesco plays the Cowboys. Meanwhile, Nico Hines has shaken off his calf concern.
He's ready to go. Did a lot of kicking the other day and yeah, it looks like there's nothing wrong with him, so he's sweet.
So too Liam Martin, who's also had a disrupted camp so far with a glute injury on limited training earlier in the week at the request of physios.
They just sort of worked out a plan just to sort of ease into the week, and by the back end of the week I should be firing, so yeah, it's feeling great, so I'm ready to go.
In Queensland, Harry Grant's now back to full health after being quarantined from teammates earlier in the camp.
It's just yeah, a little bit crook in the tummy, and speaking to a few of the boys, as they've had a bit of a bug over the last couple of weeks. It's been going around a bit.
And now the weather focused. To regional, Southern, Port Moresby mostly fine and partly cloudy, Daru and Alotau partly cloudy, Momase, Ley partly cloudy with few showers, New Guinea Islands, Kavieng partly cloudy with few showers, Kokopo or Rabaul rain showers, Islands, Mount Hagen afternoon rain showers. And that ends the news tonight. Have a top week ahead. Bye now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.